Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, or good afternoon, because it's 2 o'clock, or a little bit after, and I'm here with Martin Moore and the older brother of the great Jim. But don't forget, folks, it's 28 days actually to the event itself. It's going to be on the 3rd of August, celebrating Jim Moore's life with all his friends and supporting Brain Tumour Ireland. So it's in Clark's Bar, and they've got a special unit out the back dedicated to special events. So I have to get the name of the place yet, but Clark is so big, you can put thousands of people in it. So, Martin, you're very welcome on board.
Thank you very much.
Great to have you. I've been looking at pictures of you, loving when you're a young fella, when you're an older young fella. So you're the oldest of the family?
I'm the oldest, yeah.
Right, and there's a couple of girls then as well, isn't there?
I'm the oldest of 7. Lord Mercy and Bernadette, she died when she was a year and a half old.
Ah, right.
She would have been about a year older than Ned.
Okay.
And
would she then have come to Mullingar then?
No.
When you were, she was born in Mullingar?
She was born and reared in Dunmore, County Galway, and she died about 4 years before we come up here.
Ah, right. Now tell us, coming to Mullingar, what age were you at the time? You must have been 7.
I was 9 years of age.
9.
Yeah.
So you were well impressionable at the time, so it was a big event for you to come to Mullingar.
I knew everyone in Galway because there was a school down there,
right.
And Jim went to school.
Yeah.
There was low infant or high infant or first class, that was what we were at.
Yeah.
Down there.
Yeah.
And the school was only 50 yards from the house.
Right.
Bracklow, Carrickhill School. And so the morning we were leaving, all the kids were lined up outside the wall on the road, waiting for me.
Oh, Lord. Well, it must have been heartbreaking.
My first cousin, Josie Moore, was one of them.
Right.
So she's living in the home place in Galway today.
Big shout out to you, Josie. Hope you're looking in.
Kathleen was in the class, in the higher class in the same school with that teacher wouldn't let them out.
All right. Now, Kathleen is another cousin.
Yeah, she'd be Josie's sister.
Ah, very, very good. So you still have a huge connection back into Galway after all these years.
When my father was getting transferred with the Land Commission, he made an agreement with the Land Commission that the farm in Galway would go to his brother.
Ah, right.
Tommy Hall.
Right.
And that's why he's still in the Moore.
Estate. No, Tom Moore is there.
Josie Moore is married to Patty Kine.
Right.
And he's an Austrian.
Right.
So he's living in Galway. And there was a fella up the road from where we lived, was a fella called Dinny Burke, and he said to Patty, well, one fucker dead. Peter.
Oh, yeah, man. Now tell us, so you left Galway. What age was Jim at the time?
Jim was 6 leaving Galway.
Right.
And he was a 7 a week later here.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So we came up on the 17th of April, 64. Jim started on the 23rd of April.
The 23rd.
Yeah, 6 days later, he was 7.
Wow. 7. So the 2 years between the two of you.
Yeah, and to be fair to my father, he brought us to the All-Ireland final in 64. I was 9 and Jim was 7.
Great picture.
And that went on for 3 years in a row.
Right.
So the Christmas before we left, my uncle Jim came home from England and he bought as a leather football with it was like something over because there were no such things as a leather football before that.
Right.
So myself and Jim and Ned were the only about 3. We were kicking it around the field where Josie Moore had out today.
Wow.
In Bracklow, more County Galway. And a neighbour up the road was Bernie Higgins. He used to come down and kick the ball with us. And 3 other lads who were Roger Silk, Martin Silk and Peter Silk.
Yeah.
Now that Peter Silk went on to win a minor All-Ireland with Galway in 1970.
So you trained him?
So at least we kicked foot and ball with him anyhow. So we came to Westmeath then, and that leather football was played in children for about 5 years. We all, like the Patrick Gavin, Joe Corkin, that's in that taxi there.
All right.
And the 1966 World Cup was played in the field back of Overhayshed, with all the kids around the children. The Garys, Billy Gavin, Anthony Gavin, so all Anthony Gavin sons are played with hurling for Oliver Brookets.
Right.
Greg Gavin and all the lads.
And did you have them all named? Did you have the team named then as the characters in the World Cup then?
No.
No. You just had your own World Cup and that was it.
And 66 was the time England won the World Cup.
I don't know what they're going to do it this time.
Oh,
No.
the whole group to me, though.
Not
Not
at
a lot.
Exactly. But the other thing is then you ended up playing Gaelic football and then you ended up playing soccer.
Yeah.
Now, how did
So
that...
when we came to Mullingar, it was great to see Galway winning 3 in a row. It was like when we were kids. Galway to us were like kids looking at Manchester United or Liverpool today.
Right.
Because Galway were very good for 3 years, maybe 4.
Yeah.
And where we came from Dunmore, 4 of that team and a sub came from that club. And we lived only about a mile from the two Donalds, whose father won an All-Ireland in the 20s, and his grandson won it in the 98 and 2001.
Right.
They're the only family in Ireland win All-Ireland in 3 generations.
Holy God. You're a fair history here now, I'll tell you, of all the Gaelic football and Galway especially.
Yeah.
Galway played in Mullingar not 2 weeks ago, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
I was at that with my daughter Emma.
How did it go?
Galway won it in the end with a Shane was a great goal with about 5 minutes to go. Put Galway 3 points ahead. It was a draw up to that.
And the other thing is, women playing football. That's a whole different game now altogether.
Well,
Does your daughter play?
She played camogie for Cullen and Gaelic for Lomans when she was underage. Well, when she was 10 or up to about 12 years of age.
Right.
She hasn't played it since.
Okay.
She thought of other ways, of different things.
To keep herself busy.
But, so back in the 60s, I went to about 10 All-Ireland before I ever got involved in soccer.
Right.
I got involved in the soccer, it would be in around 1970 or 71.
Yeah.
And we were playing for Gamestown in the community games. And Joe Hare Sr. was the manager.
Right.
So that's how it started there. And then the town league came into it. And then the likes of Sean Lynch and George Evans wrote me into the Mullingar Town Committee in 1980.
All right.
So I've been there ever since.
Very, very good. Now that's involved with the Mullingar Football FC, isn't that
Yeah.
right? And that's up
In Dalton Park.
in Dalton Park. And how is that going now?
I tell you, with Jacos McNamee over the last 3 or 4 years, we've been runners up in the league for 3 years in a row.
Right.
And we lost the Cotter Cup final there in April gone by. So if we're not number 1, we're definitely in the top 3.
There you are, Mullingar does it again. Now Sean Lynch in football, I can't imagine Sean Lynch.
Sean
playing
Lynch was
football.
secretary of Mullingar Town
Oh,
in 1980 or 81.
would he been a footballer or just a manager? Or
He'd
secretary?
be more into management. Because
Yeah.
his brother Jimmy was a very good footballer.
Right.
He played in the Glen Abbey Cup team with Frank Murray and Donald Lee.
We were chatting about the Glen Abbey Cup and what Glen Abbey meant, and Tom Hunt was filling us in on all the history. The other thing he was mentioning as well is that at the time Gaelic football was sort of banned, or no, soccer was banned coming into the 70s.
I tell you, I have a good photograph at home.
Yeah.
Paddy Cole played for Shamrocks in the 60s.
Really?
Played for Westmeath. Played for Leinster in the Railway Cup. And he played soccer along the dog track for Mullingar Town.
Right.
And when they're taking the photograph, he wouldn't shy away from the photograph. What he did was he kept his head down.
Right.
So there's a photograph. Everyone knows it's Paddy Cole, but
Right.
they can't see his face.
Right, right.
Well, if that was the technology of today, they would have suspended it.
Yeah.
Because you're barred from going to a soccer or a rugby dinner dance, cricket or hockey.
Yeah.
They're all English sports.
Mm.
The Irish would call it a foreign sport.
Right.
But anyhow, so Paddy Cole.
Now, Paddy
Cole's father was Kit Cole, the boxer.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and he lived down there beside where Michael Burke came as the minister.
Right.
Michael or Peterborough.
Peterborough,
Yeah.
yeah. Because there's a great picture of Kid Cole holding a calf. Do you remember that?
That's right.
In Broders.
Yeah, yeah.
And I also remember going in and having the dinner and they going, "Jeez, your man, he's holding the calf," you know, because there's a picture on the wall in the dining room, you know.
Yeah, because kids, suppose that's the way they were training and they'll shake it a bit weird.
Yeah.
You never know.
Now, you were talking about, was it Paddy Cole?
Paddy Cole, his father was Kit Cole.
Was Paddy now the builder, no?
No. Well, no, he worked, as far as I know, Paddy worked over in the county hospital.
Okay, yeah. So look, the one big story I want to ask you is the Dream Team.
The Dream Team.
How did the Dream Team? Well, first of all, I'm thinking like, so your closest brother was Jim, right?
Jim, yeah.
And then there was Tom and John. They were close brothers. And with me, it was Adrian and myself, right?
Yeah.
Now, what I was thinking of was, were ye dreaming at that time of football as kids, going, do you know what? We'll bring a Dream Team to Mullingar in 2001, or was it just it happened?
Back in, see, we were playing in the Leinster Senior League in Dublin, and around 1999, Jim, we were putting in, it was a sand-based pitch, wasn't a proper all-weather pitch.
Right.
And he was there one summer and he said, yes, we're doing something here. He said, I can send over a few lads from the London Soccer Academy to play for Mullingar Town of the Leinster Senior League.
Right.
So that year went by, so it came to 2001.
Yeah.
Then Francis were in the League of Ireland in Dublin, and they pulled out,
Right.
because the powers that be at St. Francis merged with St. Patrick's Athletic.
Okay.
So then there was a vacancy. And I seen on the paper, they were looking for a replacement for the following team.
Right.
To hinder your application.
Right.
So I rang Michael Hyland over the level. He was president of the FAI afterwards, but he was president of the League of Ireland at that time.
Right.
And he said to me, Martin, put your application in, right? I send you this in the FAI. And I rang him over an hour there. And he said, that's it now. Well, what's that from here?
Right.
When I sent in the application to Michael Hyland, and myself and Paddy Murphy, Lord Mercy Paddy Murphy, he's dead now. Jim came in from England with another fellow from England that was over the soccer academy, Joseph DeGraff. Wasn't Leroy was, but Leroy was came with the team.
Okay.
Joseph DeGraff was over the London Soccer Academy, and he came over, and we went to Merrion Square in Dublin to meet the FAI in the old office. They're open up Sun nowadays.
Yeah.
And went in around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I met Michael Hyland on his own.
Right.
So we put all our cards on the table. Hyland turned around to me, he said, Martin, he said, you didn't do too well in the Leinster Senior League last season, you finished in the bottom half of the table. I said, yeah. Well, I said, that doesn't say we might have a better team next year.
Yeah.
And I said, we have a good playing surface in the pitch, and I showed him all the photographs.
Right.
Well, after about an hour talking there, he said, go for a cup of tea down the road, opposite the Dáil.
Okay.
Only about the Dáil was the other side of the road.
Yeah.
He said, come back in about an hour. 6 o'clock we'll land back, and there was a whole FAI committee there. The table was longer than this van.
They rang everyone.
And this is before John Delaney's side.
Okay.
Right? And so you had Brendan Menton, Oliver Byrne, who was over Shelburne. Michael Cody was the treasurer, and he came from Cork, County Cork. Paddy McCall was from Athlone. He was vice president of the League of Ireland under Michael Hyland at that time.
Right.
And Brendan Menton, who was the CEO,
Yeah.
was John Delaney's job asking.
Right.
And I said to Jim, how are you going to fund this team? He said, Bank Gyro. He said, I can guarantee you everything here. And Cody turned around to Jim and he said, right. Jim said, send all the players over and I'm going to put them up in 2 or 3 houses around Mullingar. And I'll feed them and I'll give them pocket.
Right.
And the minute he said pocket money,
Yeah.
and he said to Jim, Cody said to Jim, how much pocket money are you going to give each player? He said, I'm going to give them £50 each.
Whoa.
Right, because he was feeding them.
Right,
and putting them up. And they were like full-time professionals because they were being trained every day.
I know, yeah.
They did £50 a week, pocket money.
Buy cigarettes.
Tony turned around and he said, are you going to pay tax over that? Or in that? Oh yeah, he said, whatever the Irish government needs over, he said, I'll top that up.
Right.
So Oliver Byrne was chairman of Shelburne.
Yeah.
And he turned around, Shelburne were after winning the league that year.
Yeah.
And they were in the European Championship and all that. And he turned around, he said, I'm chairman of Shelburne. We won the league, we played in the Champions League, and we lost $1 million this year. Right? And he said, the worst team in Ireland lost 150,000.
Right.
So he didn't mention who it was, but it was Limerick. You know that. So, anyways, Roy Dooney was a right-hand man in the FAI that time.
Okay.
He sort of like John Delaney's job afterwards, Roy Dooney. So he was there too, and he was part of Fine Gael. So they said that we will discuss it with you. Jim Turner, he said, I can go back to England tonight. He said, we'll let you know it for 6 o'clock in the morning, before it hits the papers, if you're in or out.
Well.
So the turnaround, and they said it was too quick of a move for Mullingar Town to win the League of Ireland, but you can join the under 21 league for one season.
Okay.
And then get your house in order.
Mm-hmm.
And next to us, Killarney Celtic were in, Newbridge Town were in, Park Philip from Navan, and Letterkenny Rovers from Donegal. Well, at the heel of the hunt then, it came down that there was only Mullingar Town left in it, along with Newbridge Town.
So these were played out through games?
No,
They decided?
Decided not to go.
Yeah, okay.
We kept going anyhow.
Yeah.
until we couldn't go no further.
Okay.
And so there was a Stephen Finn involved in the League of Ireland. He rang me. He said, Martin, Newbridge Town are changing our name to Kildare County.
Right.
And he said, it would be a good idea if you changed your name to Westmeath United. And I said, why? He said, that means you're involved everyone in the Mullingar area. So the Mullingar Town would be under the Westmeath United umbrella.
Okay, yeah.
But anyway, I said, we put in the application as Mullingar Town, I got him stick to that.
Okay.
And it didn't make any difference in the game.
Yeah.
Because Kildare County went in and Newbridge Town, they played Newbridge Town's pitches. And when it came to the following spring, after the time we went up to meet them in August of 2001, Kimpton over the under 21 team a couple of weeks later, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that they were in the league then. Well, February of March 2002, they were deciding to fill the vacancy for the following season properly, right?
Okay.
For the senior. So it was down to Kildare Town, or Kildare County, and Mullingar Town. And what do you call him? McCreevy, Charlie McCreevy was the head man down in Kildare that time. They called minister.
Right.
And he wrote in the letter to the he said there's no League of Ireland club in Kildare which has a population of over 150,000.
Mm-hmm.
And he said there is a team in West League called Athlone Town. Really? So West people are represented anyway. But anyhow, they rang, Jim was going back to England, so Roy Dooney made sure Jim knew they were they in or out before the papers were on sale in the following morning.
Oh.
So they rang Jim around 5 o'clock in London. After the like Star or Sun, you would thought here around 7 or 8 o'clock. Kildare County in the League of Ireland. So Kildare County played all their games in Newbridge.
Right.
And they got 400,000 over the FAI to build an all-weather pitch and go up a stand and dress.
Yeah.
If we got it, we would have gone down the park. That's it.
That's where it cut off.
That's how near and how far away you are.
Well, fair play to Jim to have the guts and
Oh, yeah.
the foresight. But as well as that, I mean,
I
you
wasn't afraid.
and wasn't afraid.
No, when they came to the under-21 team, he said to me, Martin, I send over 6 players for it. I said, we've plenty of under-21 players around when we got it there.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he said, they had trials in London, and 400 turn up for trials. So he had to read them all down. Whittle them down. And then about 3 weeks of these trials.
Yeah.
And actually he turned around and he said, Martin, we're sending over a whole squad and a manager. I said, that's fair enough. If you're going to send them all. I said, what are you going to do with them all?
Yeah.
Well, he said, I'll rent a couple of houses.
Now,
So he called, there's a house down there in Auburn Village.
right.
It belonged to Roisin O'Reilly. And Lord Mercy, Michael, the Wallace old had a butcher shop up here.
Yeah.
He bought it afterwards.
Right.
He had the same son as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So we call it the Big Brother house. Because you could fit the whole fucking team in there.
The big brother. You were before your time.
But Roisin O'Reilly was going on with John Dale.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Had the shop or the pub up here.
Yeah, yeah.
And she only wanted 10 in there. So Jim went up and he got another house over in Pleasant with Marion. And they got 6 or 7 in there. And they went out to Buckley's, they had 2 trolleys. And they were getting food there every week. So Jim was paying about $2,000 a month to
2001, like. That's a fair soak of
keep the
wallet.
yeah, to keep the fed as well. And then to pay for rented the 2 houses on top of that.
Now, this happened, so you had all the crew here in Mullingar, but was that decision made that the Kildare, was that after he brought them? Were they here for a year? Were they here for 2 years?
The decision for the FAA, they were here a year at this stage.
Okay.
But the lads all came here in August and they thought, oh, we'll be in the League of Ireland next year.
Right, yeah.
Well, we didn't get that far.
Ah, yeah.
They played in the April League for 2 years.
That's right, because they put them into this other league and then they had to play their way into it, yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, some of them lads want to go back to England anyhow, but 2 years is enough here.
And the other thing is then one of the lads married Richard Bailey's.
Nadim Akhtar is his name.
Yeah.
And when they came here originally, they were all in the rye mill.
Right, yeah.
You know, the little
Yeah.
up here at the back. And we used, we got to know Nadim Akhtar. He was about 20 at the time.
Yeah.
And he said his father played against George Bell.
Go away.
So all the lads call him Bestie then.
Right.
Or George. So George or Bestie is not a proper name. Nadim Akhtar is the right name.
Right.
And to cut a long story short, 2 months ago, or 3 months ago, he bought Kettering Town in London and I texted him, I said, how much did it cost you? Nearly $1 million. No. So he started here, but young Anne Daly Lily Daly worked in the Rhine.
Right.
And Anne Daly was working over in Marshall's, Pifa Mark.
Right.
Here.
Yeah.
And she used to call in to feed one.
Right.
And of course she's called in to feed your man as well.
So, Jesus, have a look at the lies.
And they put the whole thing down to that's 23 years ago.
Jeez.
So I met Anne Daly here and, as I call him, Georgie or Bestie here
Yeah.
at the Fla last year.
Wow.
And Anne Daly turned around, only for you and Jim, we wouldn't have met.
Yeah. Is that magic?
And there's 5 kids in London now.
God, oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
But look, Jim has left us with such great memories and such positivity
Yeah.
and drive and no fear and all them things.
And he was very generous. No matter what money he ever had or got a hold of, he wasn't a miser.
Yeah.
I'll give you one story. We were going in Madigan's bar, beside the Russian Hotel. That's where we meet going to the All-Ireland games.
Yeah.
And some fellow was in the pub. Your man said, I have no ticket to go to Madigan's. He said, I'm going to drink here.
Right.
And watch fast until the day.
Yeah.
Jim comes out the door, down and you buy the cup ticket out of the tower. Comes out. Yeah, now you goes out there.
Go away.
Yeah. I don't know what you get it out.
And come here, was he very successful?
Well,
He must have been.
Jim was fun. Right? With all the projects he did in London
Yeah.
over the years, he started off with Bennett's.
Yeah.
And he's a good friend of Christopher Bennett. And all down the years, the to and fro, and if there's any jobs in London, Bennett were doing, Jim would be helping out there,
Right.
vice versa.
Yeah.
And Chris was kind of on the right road for different projects as well, because Chris was from Dublin, London, everywhere.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's still going on in his business. But and John,
Your brother,
Bennett, it was another. Well,
Alright.
John Moore in America, right?
Yeah.
Now, talking about Jim and John, the one in New York and one in London, and all my nephews, or even the nieces, well, definitely more nephews than nieces, they could go either way and they go.
Exactly, yeah.
Now, I'll give you another story. Back in the 80s,
Mm-hmm.
there was an indoor soccer tournament on the St. Mary's CBS. And I got a team in called the Unknowns. So no one knew who was on the Unknowns team. But there were 5 movers.
Right.
And I wouldn't play myself, so I got Pete Purcell to play in goals.
All right.
So there were 4 movers on the
On the team.
floor, and Pete Purcell was goal. And I had to go up on the stage because you couldn't stand into the door because too narrow about it.
Yeah.
I'd be looking down at them, telling you.
You're the manager.
Yeah. But anyhow, it was called the Unknowns.
Right.
So 20 years later, maybe 25 years later, with Jim's lad going to New York, working during the summer, Dean, and Aaron Purcell. So John had them all working in the business. And he looked into this building site one morning, and he seen 5 Moors and a Purcell.
Right. Go on.
And he said, that is this, the next generation, because there was 5 Moors and a Purcell playing above the gym.
See me God, 20 years ago.
Back in 1985, or 84, 85.
Now, Jim had 4 sons, has 4 sons.
Jim has 4 sons.
Are they football men or?
Or rugby.
Oh, rugby.
Big rugby.
Yeah.
There's a 4 that had them at that.
They're big bucks.
There's 4 of them on a rugby team only about 3 years ago.
Right.
I tell you, I wouldn't like to run in it. It's any. That's just the truth. Because you definitely wouldn't be able to push against it again.
And did they get involved in the business as well, or did they do the
Jim, or Jono is into the quantity survey, and he was with Jim for a while before Jim got bad.
Mm.
But I don't know who he's working with in London, but he definitely was a quantity surveyor.
All right.
Daniel is heading for America in October, November. He wants to be, he's getting involved in green energy and all that sort of thing.
All right.
And the other 2 lads, or James is more into, what do you call it? Into media and all that sort of thing.
All right.
He's doing his own thing in London at the moment. He's the youngest. Now, before I go now, last November, my daughter Lisa,
Mm-hmm.
Jim was her godfather.
Right.
And Lisa had her birthday was last November the 25th. She went up to the house to Jim, and then around 12 o'clock in the day, because they knew that Jim would be going over the car later on. And Jim was watching the Manchester City Liverpool game on the TV. And when the game was over, he turned around the car and said to him, I won't share. I will bring me into the Turkish barbers and most.
Right.
And he went into the Turkish barbers and came over there and went into Wallace for the next
Right.
That was the last thing. Next day, I don't worry else for
Oh,
go there and go. That's
right.
But he enjoyed the crack up to the end. He went to every soccer match and a rugby match and All Ireland and in the County Park last summer 12 months when Galway were playing down there, well, 2 years ago. He went every match right up till October. And if you were talking to Liam Gillan, he'd tell you a good story.
All right. Well, look.
If you called Liam Gillan, he'd tell you a good story.
That'll do. Well, there you are, folks. I had a great chat with Martin. And if you have any stories that you want to share with us, feel free to get in contact with us. And it says the event is on the 3rd of August. And I believe there's a lot going on because there's so many moors in it. I think there's going to be a talent competition between the whole lot of them at this stage. And a bit of karaoke, I say, as well, because I'd say one or two of them are singers.
There definitely is one or two that can sing. Ned Moore is one.
Right. We got a message from Ned Moore. See the video I made?
Yeah, I've seen that. I tell you what, he's like the colour of a dark table.
And he's only there a week. You got that all in Ireland. I'd say he's out in the garden. Look, folks, myself and Martin, thanks for looking in. Share the post with your friends and say it's all about the event itself. But in a way, we're after giving you a lot of history about football here in Mullingar and the history of a lot of people as well. So once again, Martin. Oh, yes, we've something to show you.
I better put on a hat.
Oh,
Jim would be delighted to see that. Up Galway.
oh, bye for now. Thanks, Martin. We'll see you soon.